Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to see you again. We have a really fun lesson today, and it's mark making. Some of you have never heard of it before, but it's actually something that we started doing as soon as we put a pencil down on paper. Now, it's not just papers and pencils, it's pens, crayons. Anything that touches a surface becomes a mark maker. So art materials applied to a surface, even if it's clay, even if it's wood on wood, you're making a mark. You're putting some artistic thing together. Now the tools are very important. And today we are going to actually make our own tools, which brings it up a notch for our education and our skill level. When you just put marks down in a non-objective way, you create more of an abstract art. Now, when you're deliberate and you're trying to create grass or, say, wood grain, then it becomes more of a mark on purpose. But some of the marks can be gentle. Some of them can be super intense. Every mark you put down is going to reference either what you're deliberately trying to do or what just happens. So remember, you put it down, it's a dot. You extend it, it becomes a line. You connect it, it becomes a shape. And then when you repeat it, it becomes a pattern. It's all going to make a lot of sense after we make our tools and we make our art. We talked about tools being the most important. Today we're going to make our own tools. There are so many. When I was looking at what is possible, and I was like, I'm making my own. So I have my chopsticks, my cotton swabs, my popsicle sticks, my tongue depressors, and I have some straws. These are just a few things. What I'd like you to do is, let's make these all on a stick somehow. Then it won't be so much like our impression lessons. This will be more of an actual mark making lesson when we use these. My favorite were these. They're actually called blades. It's just a piece of fun foam and a piece of advertising mail that we get. Let's make one right away to show you. So you have a rectangle piece. Measure your fun foam first, or I'm sure that even a heavy piece of paper would work. And then you're going to cut your little grooves or designs in them. I'm going to make this one straight. I was doing V's on all of them, but I think I'll get a wider space. And since I have an idea of what I'm going to make with this, I'm going to make them a little closer together. I always have an idea. Actually, it was a friend of mine. I showed him my examples and he said, it looks like a lionfish. And I was like, yes, it does. Maybe one more with a little triangle. Let's mix it up. Then you simply fold it in half, fold it in the center, slip this in, make sure that it's even. So you want to tap it so all of the little tips touch. And then you staple. How simple was that? Tool number one. And the next one that worked very well for me, and I will show you my examples in a moment, was this one. It's almost like a brush, but it's just a straw, a very thin straw, on a chopstick with a piece of tape. So I'll cut my tape first. There we go. And set it off to the side. Now this is actually a biodegradable straw made from avocado seeds. Do you believe it? It's got a little wax on it. And then we're simply going to go in and create our brush. The closer together, the better. I will show you a tool that I thought was going to work fantastically, and it did not. And that's because it was too thick. It's where my original idea came from. Can you see that? And then I'm simply going to slide it onto my chopstick. I don't have to tape it, but I would not be happy if it just fell apart while I was doing it. So we'll do a quick tape. So there you go. Tool number one, tool number two. I will now show you my tools. These I did a test run, and I suggest that you do, because you don't know what's going to happen with the tools you make. You see the marks when you practice them first, because these were a total disaster. This was what I used for my original tool, and this is what it gave me. It's okay if you're doing abstract art. This is cool. You can add to it. This one was a total failure. Let me start out with that one. This was a spring pulled apart, put on a Q-tip. It did nothing. So that was the first thing. It was, we're not using that. My original idea came from using the tabs off of the cans. And I thought, well, instead of just cutting them up and putting them in the recycling, I'm going to try to make a brush. And I did. And it's thick. And it grabbed the paint funny. And this is what it gave me, was this kind of abstract, odd looking. It's fine, but I don't think I want to use it again. This, actually some woman, oh look, it's attached. Some woman said that she used a potato masher. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I made my potato masher. I'll just give you a little look. I've got my black paint, tempera. Now, a lot of these are done with ink, and you just make a mark. I have not crossed over. Let's see what happens when I add them. Oh, I bet you could do floral with that, or butterflies. Anything is possible with mark making. So this was another fine tool. I was happy with it. The other side, and I have to do this because otherwise I'll get paint on my paper, was an old hair clip that was broken of mine. And I just put my Q-tip right in here so that I could use it like a claw. If I put it this way, it wouldn't work, so it had to go up. And this one was quite nice as well. I'm getting my paint on and straight lines, and if I did it this way, it was thick to thin, which was very cool. Great for claws and things like that. So this was yet another good tool. I was happy with that one. Moving on, the one I didn't think would work, and you're not going to believe this, well, I guess you can see the shape right there. This is just a piece of an egg carton taped on. I like the squareness of it, but when you take a square and you turn it, you can get a swoosh and a swoosh. There we go. This is from a square, so you never know what's going to happen with that. And on this side, again, I need to leave it open again, I used, I believe it was my thinner. I made two. You can see one has got the thicker pieces and this one has thinner. So let me dip that in there. We'll be using this for our final. And I have to say, these are my favorite. They're called blades. And they give you beautiful shapes, almost three-dimensional. So that's another one I was happy with. This, oh, I was wrong. That was a thicker one. The thinner one gave you thinner lines. And this actually starts to look like a fishtail or something. Everything will look like something. And then, to my surprise, my straw worked the best, but it's very thin. I will dip this in it. You have to see this. When you dip this in, it all goes down. It's very cool. And this one gives you these beautiful light. Like I said before, the lines can be gentle or they can be intense. If you want intense, it's the way you move your tool. That's why all these practices and all these pieces of artwork you're going to make will make you super confident. Another very good tool. Well, it's time to look at a few examples, test it out, and then show you how to do it. This was my very first one. And I was just whipping it around, seeing what would happen. And it started to look like a rooster to me. So then I intentionally, on purpose, tried to make those marks. And then with my smaller tool, I actually really did create this beautiful rooster. It's kind of puffed up and big bellied, and it's got a nice wing. This one, to me, this was the one my friend, he said it looked like a lionfish. This one looks like a baby chick to me, and I did use those as the claws. So anything's possible. Then I really like this one. This just looks like spring. You know, things are coming up out of the ground. You've got lots of action and movement. The thicker lines give you some depth. So I think it's time for us to play. My thought was I need to get all of my tools out of the way. I've got 2 new tools that I'm going to try to use with you today. So we'll put these here. Lots of stuff around Miss Linda today. Let's do the little gentle one first. And I'm going to try, now I know I had that piece of paper so that I could test. Dipping it in the paint. And when you dip, you're dipping. You're not scooping it up like a paintbrush. Let's see what happens with our natural straw. Ooh, the lines are nice and straight. You'll be dipping a lot. The direction that you move your tool in is what gives you the feel and the movement. Now I'm going to try to make daffodils. And notice I'm not painting like a paintbrush. I'm making marks. That looks like a daffodil. It's so nice when it works out when I'm doing the demonstration for you, because sometimes it doesn't. All right, one more daffodil here. And, I think I need a little more paint. Whoa, I got the paint I needed. So now I'm going to fill in the bottom. Daffodils have long leaves. Again, making marks is different than painting or drawing. I want to say the word conceptual because it's how the viewer looks at it. So I have my daffodils done simply with my natural straw. I want to show you how this one works though. This is super thin, so let's see if we can do some other flowers here. Trying to do a circular motion, not a paintbrush, so we need to just touch and move. And then they need some stems and some leaves. Making marks, making marks. There we go. We did this delicate, beautiful, organic flower garden area with just a few marks. What I'd like to show you next is I am actually going to, and I think this piece of paper is too small. I believe I'm going to try the Luna lionfish. And I'm going to use mostly my blades because they have the movement. Let's test this new one out. Remember, I did all these different shapes. Dip. Now this one, you're going to want to dip on one side and then on the other one so that you can do the back and forth movement. So let's see how this works. Oh, nice. See if I can get that. Oh yeah, we're going to get that lionfish action with this for sure. All right, I'm going to move this. I already have my starting mark to start my lionfish. All right, everyone, wish me luck because we are experimenting together today. Body. Body. See what I mean? And leave the light stuff. It's really cool looking. So far, I think we're going to be able to do this easily. Oh, he's got a bigger jaw. Now, I might need another tool. Let's just use this wider one for the head. Now, I'm only putting my paint on a few of them, and I'm going to dab it off. There we go. There we go. I'm going to dip it off so it's not too... See if I can do my directions for the head. I think we're getting it. They have so many little stripes and movements on them that this is the perfect tool for it. So now, excuse me, I'm going to dip the entire piece in and get those beautiful, I'm going to tip it. Remember, this is not a painting. I just did this, so I have this to wipe it off. Tempera dries fast, so keep that in mind when you're doing this. And he has giant fins out here. Ooh, I like the swirling action of him. This is an abstract. Back here. Back here. Now we start to fill it in with, let's use our claw. dip the claw in, and I can finish the face. Maybe I should do it this way. And hopefully we can see this, a bigger piece of paper today. All right, a little bit up here. And I want to attach these. It's very, very, very flowing. It's body. Now I'm going to finish my tail with this. This tool works better than I thought it was going to. I knew it would work, but I never knew that it would do the straight lines. So you're drawing and you're painting, but in a very unusual way. Now let's use my straw because we need its tail. And I remember that this gave me straight, beautiful lines. Yes. So I think I can finish this in too. So I've got the body. I need to get that. He's got kind of a pouty face. And then let's see if I can do an eye by just turning this or touching. Yes. I got my eye. His nose comes out to here. What else? We have more fins. I am glad I made this straw. And back here. I am looking at a picture of a lionfish, so we want to really show that this is a giant fin. We are almost done. Let's finish this. And they have stripes, but I want this to be a little rough. I want people to look at it and have to look. The face is not anything I love, so let's see if I can do some curved lines. Yes. See, I didn't practice this. We are experimenting together, and so far I'm actually very pleased with it. Let's round this out. We're just going to give it a little more definition. My new tool may be my favorite new tool. So the eye is not as prevalent as I want. So you know what I'm going to try to do? Let's give this a shot. I'm going to test it out. It's way too big. So what Miss Linda's going to do is use the other side of the straw. Now this is more of an imprint, but I'm still making a mark. Like I said, anytime you do something like this, oh, I know what. I've been dying to use this for something. We're just going to give it the most unusual eye. Did I get it on there right? Yes. All right, we'll go around it, and this will definitely create the eye. There you go. 1, 2, 3. We did this beautifully. I did get some on my paper, but that's all right because this is mark making. This is something that you want to do over and over again. Practice it. So today, after you meet all of your goals, get everything done that you want to, sit down, find your things to make your tools, enjoy testing them out to see what works and what doesn't work, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different mark making pieces of artwork, and you're gonna really, really enjoy this.